Wow.
Yeah. I was like, this is it. If I do this, if I have a thought and I take action, because I took a risk. My mother said, don't leave this yard because, you could die.
Yeah.
Any one of those houses I knocked on, I could have been gone, man. Never to be
Sure,
seen
yeah.
again. And there's no cameras back then.
Yeah,
I said, you're done. It's over.
Legitimately. Yeah.
I'm in raped in somebody's basement. But
Or you just get smacked. Some guy just get out of here. Just get smacked. Yeah.
Shot, whatever, stabbed.
Sure.
But I took the risk. So I learned early on that there's a risk but there's also a reward. If you pan out with the risk, there's going to be a reward. And I learned that my conscious thoughts are powerful. And if I put action behind those thoughts, I'll get a manifestation. Something will change. I'll get a different reality. I realized that I changed my time trajectory. My timeline shifted into this new timeline where I now had this power that I was aware of that I wasn't aware of before. And I started applying that to my life over and over again. I started seeing that I had real, true control. And I was standing in the front of the house that we were renting at the time. And I told my mom was looking at me like, what's wrong, son? And I said, I don't belong here and I'm getting out. I knew it, Yeah, I knew it.
How did that, so you read a lot. How did that get you into, aliens and our existence? And how did you go from knowing I control where if I change my mentality, I can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Did you stumble then right into sort of all this esoteric knowledge and all of these things, or what was the road like to get to there?
It was a long process, very long process. So when I was very young, my dad realized I had a high aptitude for reading and comprehension. So he started me with like the simple books, See, Cat, Run, and all this kind of stuff, and Dr. Seuss and Sesame Street books and stuff. That was simple stuff. But he would make me write a summary about what's in the book or what's on certain pages. Like a very short, 3-4 sentences, I could write and everything at an early age. And he was like, this is incredible. So as I got a little bit older, he would make me do book reports on like more complex books. And then when he recognized that I can read good, he started having me do book reports on the Bible, book reports on encyclopedias, whatever was around the house, read this, read that. I remember my first novel that I read was The Sea Wolf by Jack London. And I had to do a whole book report on that. With that book, I still have a copy in here today. It's like nostalgic, But so that started giving me data points. When you start reading a lot of historical texts and books that were laying around, a lot of encyclopedias and things like that, for me at least, I was remembering these data points. And I was able to start connecting certain dots at a very young age. But what really happened to me was that was in New York. When we got to Miami in 1977, I was in the backyard and I saw this object go over the backyard. I was watching airplanes go from the Opa-locka airport, which is right around the corner. And I was like so amazed, like, man, the thing is going so slow from here, but I know it's got to be going fast. A lot of prop planes. And then I saw this thing go across the horizon. And I was like, whoa. And as soon as I said, whoa, it went and it stopped. It was lower this time. And it was glowing metal, a little bit longer than the egg, but not quite egg, but a little bit more elongated. Glowing metal, completely silent, not even a buzz. And then it said, pew, it was just gone again. I ran in the house and I was like, oh my God. And I told my mom what I saw. I knew it didn't have a cockpit, wings, tail fin, none of that stuff. She said, son, in the ancient times, there were advanced beings. She didn't say aliens. She said advanced beings that came to this planet. And she said they lived on tops of mountains. She said, when you get older, you need to go to Machu Picchu, which is why there's a picture of Machu Picchu in my first book in the front of the book, and the dedication is to my mom because of that.
Your mom
day.
told you that?
In the 70s.
How did your mom know this?
I found out a little bit later how she came up potentially with this, not exactly, but maybe, because she never told me that she had any kind of experience. But her sister, who they were like best friends, they were the closest sisters. My mom defended her against a family member that was sexually abusing some of the women in the family. She defended her with a switchblade. So they became really close. But on her deathbed, that's my aunt, on her deathbed, she told me a couple days before she died that her and my mom got picked up by beings. Again, she didn't say aliens. She said beings, and taken off in a ship for a few hours in St. Thomas Virgin Islands, which is where they were growing up at the time, and then brought back. And I was like, wow. And she didn't know anything about me being forbidden knowledge or on TV. She can't even turn on the phone.
Yeah, this is like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. So maybe this is why my mom had that understanding.